Hi there, Stampin' Peace friends. I'm Mary Nabe. Welcome to my studio in Westerville, Ohio. Happy May 14th. I can hardly believe that we are halfway through the month of May. In some ways this year is going by very slow, and some ways it's going by very, very quickly. But anyways, it is what it is, right? It's a big week, lots happening here in my studio. I've introduced another card class to go, and this one features one of our new in colors, the peach pie color, and the class uses the Citrus Blooms stamp set and dies. So information about the Citrus Blooms class to go has been sent out in my email newsletter. It is also posted on my blog, stampinpeace.com. All of the information is there, class options, prices, with the links to sign up. And of course, deadline for options 1 and 2, the class kits to go, is May 19th. The PDF tutorial only is an option as well, and that can be purchased on my blog website in the PDF store, and there's a link for that. And PDF tutorials can be bought long into the future. As long as I'm doing what I'm doing today, those will always be available. But the class to go kits for the Citrus Blooms class, deadline to register or order those is May 19th. And speaking of in colors, I want to remind you about this amazing starter kit special. As you know, our typical starter kit costs $99, and for that you get to choose $125 of product, and it's all going to ship to you free. But this month, during the month of May only, Stampin' Up! Is giving away $82 worth of new in-color products free with the purchase of your starter kit. So in total, you would be getting $207 of Stampin' Up! Product. Again, $125 would be of your choice, the $82 in colors free, and it would all ship to you free. So great deal for $99 plus sales tax. Basically, you're getting all of that half price when it comes right down to it. So it's a fabulous deal. I would love for you to be one of my Merry Stampers. I have people of all across the spectrum in my team, from people who are in it to get a great deal with the starter kit and perhaps enjoy the discount for a while, and then others at the opposite end who are building a business or doing some work to add a little income to their household budgets, and then people in between who maybe just offer 1 or 2 classes a month or have just a handful of customers that help them keep up their quarterly minimums. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to talk to you and answer those questions as best I can. If nothing else, it is a great deal, and I would love to have you take advantage of that. You can also find out more information about what it means when you purchase a starter kit and you are a demonstrator. Demonstrator can be a little daunting and maybe even scary to some people, but that's just the term Stampin' Up! Gives to their consultants. It does not mean you have to demonstrate or hold classes or sell if you don't want to. Those opportunities are there, but nobody pressures you into doing something you don't want to do. So you might want to take a look at that information at stampinpeace.com under the Join category. Let's see. Oh, one more announcement. Tomorrow, I am having I have 2 specials for you for one day only. So this is May 15th, 2024 only. I am giving free shipping and or if you purchase 2 PDF tutorials in my PDF store, you can choose 1 for free. And the information about how to get your free shipping on a Stampin' Up! Order and or how to get that free PDF tutorial with the purchase of 2 is on, well, it will be up on my blog this evening, stampinpeace.com, but I've also sent that out in an email already. And if you need that information, just let me know. But it will be posted to stampinpeace.com this evening. So I just want to let you know those 2 things are happening tomorrow. Just a way for me to give back to the people that have supported me for so long in my business journey. Okay. Today I want to show you how to make a split front card. And we're going to make 2. I'm going to make 2 for you. And I'm going to feature this, let me pull it out, this new stamp set, Spotlight on Nature. It's gorgeous. Isn't it so pretty? And you don't need to be intimidated thinking you have to do all that coloring if you don't want to. I'm going to show you how easy it is to make split front cards, as well as how to enjoy using this Spotlight on Nature stamp set. I'm going to flip my camera around now, and while I do that, would you please share this live video and invite others to join us this afternoon, and feel free to tag your friends in the comments to direct them right here. Oh, and by the way, I missed jumping on my sites to wish people a happy Mother's Day on Sunday. So whether you are a mother, grandmother, aunt, sister, somebody who is in a mother role, a mother of fur babies, whatever it may be, I hope you enjoyed a wonderful Mother's Day with people that you love. All right, Spotlight on Nature. And I'm not going to show you the sample on this just yet because I want you to see firsthand what I'm referring to as a split front card and how to do that. So to make a split front card, you are going to start with a card base that measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches. Okay, 4 1/4 by 11 inches. And I've scored it in half on the long side. So I've scored it at 5 1/2 inches on the long side. On one side, I'm going to cut it 1 1/2 inches, and then I'm going to slide it over and cut at 2 1/2 inches. So this is what I'm left with. That card base now looks like this. I'm going to fold on that score line, and the small flap is going to be at the top, and the fold is going to be at the flap. And what's going to happen is we're going to end up putting it together so that the front is basically like this. It's the small flap and then these 2 pieces added. So before I add those 2 pieces, I'm going to add my basic white to the inside of my card base. This measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. When I finish with this card, it will be a standard A2 size card, meaning 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. The next part is a little bit tricky. I'm going to take this 1 1/2 inch strip that I cut from the card base, and I'm just going to kind of lay it in place right here. I am going to put some multi-purpose glue right there and right here. And then I've got this 2.5-inch strip that I cut away. And I'm going to turn it to the vertical position and glue it in place. So I'm putting a little bit of multi-purpose glue at the top and bottom of that. And I'm just kind of, it's a little tricky, holding that bottom piece in place, but that's the reason I use the multi-purpose glue, so that if I need to move anything around, I can easily do that because I've used the liquid glue. And holding that bottom piece in place, I'm just centering the 2.5 by 4.25 inch rectangle in the center. I think that looks pretty good, so I'm going to press that down. And because of where I put all my adhesive, all my glue, nothing's getting on the inside of that card, okay? So keep in mind, when you're gluing, you're going to glue the bottom edge of the top flap and a little glue on that bottom strip. And then on this rectangle, I put my adhesive at the top and bottom, okay? And again, I think the multi-purpose glue, the liquid glue, is going to be your friend when you are positioning all these pieces into place, because that way you can slide them around if you need to straighten them out or something like that. Oops, you know what? I just did that wrong. I've gotten ahead of myself, got too excited. So we'll just pretend that didn't happen, right? I should have put my DSP on first. So I've cut DSP. This is the from the Perennial Lavender Suite. And these pieces measure 1.25 by 4 inches. It's a good thing I'm going to make this card a second time, or another version of this card a second time. And hopefully I won't goof by skipping that important step. But that's okay. You get to see me. I was even thinking, boy, that's really hard to see. I don't remember that being so hard to see when I was putting it together the first time. Color, you know, the tone on tone, the crumb cake on crumb cake. Ugh, okay, but made it work, right? So again, I'm holding the top flap down and holding that bottom 1.5 strip in place. Let me add a little more glue to this. But again, you can see where I'm putting the glue so that it only adheres the top flap and the bottom strip to the 2.5 inch centerpiece without any of that adhesive. Oh, that looks so much better. Without any of that adhesive getting on the inside of my card. So much easier to see, right? Ugh. Thanks for bearing with me. Okay. So there it is. That is basically my split front card. So now let's add some stamping to it. I have this leafy print, okay? And I'm going to stamp this in Pretty Peacock. Pretty Peacock is one of the coordinating colors in the Perennial Lavender DSP. Easy peasy. And then I'm going to stamp a little bit with crumb cake. I want to use some scrap paper because I may be stamping off a little bit and don't want to get that on my Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm using this, what should we call it? kind of looks like a linen pattern to me. But anyways, you can stamp it full strength or you can stamp off. Either way, I think I'm going for the full strength on this. And I just want to stamp it kind of randomly in a few spots. Okay, if I want to add a little bit more, now's a great time to do some stamping off. I kind of like to turn the stamp also when I'm doing some random stamping like that. Then I'm going to add this to my card front. This piece measures, this white stamped piece measures 2 1/4 by 4 inches. Okay. When I post this to my blog, all of the dimensions will be there for you. And now I want to dress it up a little bit, and I want to add a sentiment. And I want to show you a trick when I add this sentiment. So I'm going to use the stamp Thanks, and I'm going to stamp it in crumb cake. Oh, let me grab this. On a piece of white scrap. Now, a lot of times I stamp in the middle of my cardstock and then punch or die cut. This time I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to stamp near the bottom edge. And the reason I did that is I want to show you a slightly different way for you to use some of your punches. And this one in particular, I'm going to use the, 1 3/4 inch punch. And I'm just going to punch a semicircle. Of course, you could punch a circle and then snip it in half if you want, but this is super easy and it's one less step for you to do. I like to find unique ways to use my punches and die cuts and other Stampin' Up! Products. And then I always feel like I get more bang for my buck. I get more use out of my products by being able to use them in different ways. So I wanted to share that with you. And it could go in the middle. It could go off to the side. I think I'm going to put it right about, do I want it in the middle? You know, I'm going to go in the middle on this one. I'll show you my sample. On my sample, I want a little more off to the right. But I'm going to finish this up with a double bow made from linen thread. So I'm just doubling the length there. And then I'll make my bow. And remember, you can just pull the loops and the tails, the ends, to make the, and I have no idea where my scissors are, to make the, 1 second. Sorry about that. But as I was saying, you can play with the loops and the tails to get the size bow that you want for whatever card or project that you're working with. And you can use a mini glue dot to attach this, or because the knot of this bow is smaller than a glue dot, I prefer to use a dot of the multi-purpose glue, lay the knot of the bow in place, and then I'll just put a clear stamping block on it to let that dry. Okay, wow, so many of you are watching. Yay! this made my day. I was kind of having a rough day, so, and I always know I'm going to feel better once I get on Facebook Live. Today felt like a lonely day, like overly quiet, and it's rainy and yucky outside, and that kind of adds to the mood. Now I wanted to show you here. This is where it's basically the very same card I just made for you. The only difference is I put my sentiment off to the right a little bit more. Okay. But remember this trick for using punches. You can do it with circles, with ovals, the modern oval punch, the hexagon. Find different ways to punch your sentiments and things. Just make sure Stampin' Up! Tools, your products, your punches, a little bit more versatile. Pippa, thanks so much for joining me, and thanks for your kind words. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed the demonstrations. Okay, this is one of the cards I will be giving away at the end of my demonstration, so hold on to the end so I can give you a code word to type so that you can have your name entered into the drawing to receive either that card or this next one that I'm going to make. Now with this one, I've got a card base of Gorgeous Grape. Again, it measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and I scored it 5.5 down the center. Okay, and again, it will be an A2 card, 4 1/4 by 5.5. Now to make my split front card, once again, I'm going to use my paper trimmer. I'm going to cut off 1.5 inches and then 2.5 inches from the same end. And I'm left with these 3 pieces. And before I even start putting any of that card together, I'm going to add my DSP to, not sure which side we're going to use. I think we're going to use this side. I was set to use the leafy side, but I think I'll flip it over so that you can see a little variation from the sample I'll show you at the end. These DSP strips, again, are from the Perennial Lavender Suite, and they measure 1 1/4 inches by 4 inches. I'm going to give this score line a nice crease with my bone folder. And before I put the pieces of the split front card base together, I'm going to add this white to the inside. The white measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. And now I'm ready to adhere the 3 pieces that make up my my split front card base. So once again, I want to use my multi-purpose glue. I'm just putting a little at this bottom edge and a little at this top edge. Notice I didn't go real far out on the left and right. I want to make sure that it's no wider than the piece of cardstock I'll be laying down. And then on this 2.5 inch by 4 inch piece, I'm putting a narrow line of glue at the top and bottom. So here's the tricky part. Sometimes I feel like we need an extra hand, but after you do 1 or 2 of these, you'll find that it really is not that difficult. And if it is difficult for you, no worries. Do something like this where you can just use a clear block or something else to help you hold that piece in place. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm just going to center this 2.5 inch by 4 inch Gorgeous Grape rectangle in the center. Press down at the top and bottom to make sure everything's adhered well. Whoops, I slid that a little. You'll slide that back into place. I think that looks good and straight. So there is my split front card base. So now we need to stamp and finish off this pretty card. This time I'm using this floral image from the, I keep forgetting the name, Spotlight on Nature stamp set. And I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I like to have two colors on my flowers typically. So I want Gorgeous Grape blooms and then Pretty Peacock stems and leaves. However, watch what I'm going to do. You know, I'm going to put this, I don't think I need the scrap paper, but I want to make sure that I'm ready with it if I do. So I'm just going to stamp this in the one color, in Pretty Peacock. Then I'm going to clean this stamp with my chamois. Okay, looks good. And on a piece of scrap paper now, oh, that might not be big enough. Here we go. So on a piece of scrap paper, I want to stamp the blooms. So I'm just going to tap the top part of my stamp into the Gorgeous Grape ink and then stamp it onto my scrap paper. And of course, there's lots of different ways we can add two colors to one stamped image, correct? We can color with our Stampin' Write markers, color the stems, one color, and then color the blooms a different color. We can do that also with sponge daubers and ink pads. But this time I'm doing something different. And you know, I'm going to color these first before I actually cut them out. I just think it's easier to cut things or to color things before they are cut out. So I'm just filling in these flower blossoms, flower blooms with fresh freesia. This is the light fresh freesia. Super easy to color these in. Very basic shapes. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of the dark fresh freesia Stampin' Blends just to add a little more dimension and shading to those flowers. And I think that looks awesome. So now I'm just going to simply cut these out. I know not everybody's into what I call fussy cutting. That means we have to cut something out with our scissors. But trust me, this little bit of fussy cutting is going to be worth it. So worth it that you'll be willing to do it too, I think. Cutting right along that edge of each of the blooms. I love our paper snips. They are very sharp. You always want to be careful. The pointy tips are pretty darn sharp. But you can cut really precisely with them and really easily. And then I'll just cut out this real small one as well. Now, I'll be adding these blooms to this stamped white cardstock, but before I do that, I want to fill in those leaves a bit. So I'm going to do that with the light Lost Lagoon shade. All the detail of the leaves and the flowers are in the stamp themselves. So you really don't have to do anything except fill in with some color. And I'm going to go over those stems a little bit with the dark shade of Lost Lagoon. So I stamped in Pretty in Pink, and I'm filling in with Lost Lagoon. I'm barely touching the tip of my Stampin' Blend to the stem. And if you go outside the line a little bit, it's a-okay. No worries, all right? Oh, Pippa, you can do this. You can do this. I believe you can. I'm using my mini dimensionals to add these blooms to the stamped cardstock. And then I just lay these on top of the other blooms that were stamped originally with the Pretty Peacock ink. And I'd say that looks pretty sweet, doesn't it? But you might want to add just a wee bit more to this. And this could have been done before I put the blossoms on, but I wanted you to see what it looks like finished, because this can be finished just like this. But you can also add a little detail with this, what do you call it? This speckled, I'll say speckled stamp. Again, when you're randomly stamping, be sure and twist and turn that stamp a bit. Okay, and I like to, when I'm doing random stamping, I also like to do some stamping full strength, but also stamping off, just to get some different shades, light and dark shades of that crumb cake or whatever color you might be using. Next, I'm going to put this on my card front. We'll add a sentiment and a linen thread bow, and we'll be all set. So I've got a 3/4 of an inch strip here, okay? 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to stamp this sentiment, Dear Friend, with my gorgeous grape ink. And then I'll just snip the ends. Many of you already know my little trick here and you're already using it, but for those of you that this may be new to, once I snip off that end, I take that piece and turn it and put it on the opposite end And then I use that as my guide to snip the angle at the other end. That way I know that both angles are the same. Okay. It's a super easy technique that you all can do, and it just gives a little bit nicer finish to your angled ends because they are the same angle without you trying to measure or fuss or do anything like that. And I'm just going to adhere this right here with some dimensionals. And then once again, I'm going to make a double bow. This time my bow is going to be smaller just because I'm putting it in a different place. But you try, like I said, if you give yourself enough length of your ribbon or your trim so that you can move those loops and ends to get the size bow you want, you'll be all set. Yeah, I think I like that. Who else is excited that the perennial lavender DSP and the stamp set and the dies are all back? Who else is excited about that? One of my favorites ever, not just favorite from the last mini catalog, but one of my favorite suites ever. So I was thrilled. It's not real often that Stampin' Up! Carries over designer series paper, but ooh, I sure am glad they did this one. And that is my second split front card. And I believe I have I think I have a stamp. Yes, I have a stamped envelope here. Now here is an example of me using, and you know what? I'll just go ahead and do it to show you in case some of you aren't familiar, but I first have to find where I laid my chamois. My little, it's probably looking right at me, isn't it? Oh, friends. Okay. It should be right here. It always goes here. I pulled it over. I used it. I have no idea what happened with my little chamois. Okay. We're going to do something different to clean this off. Oh, here it is. See, I told ya. I put it up on the left side instead of the right. I've got so many ink pads and everything opened. Goodness. Am I the only one who misplaces things that they've just used on their craft table? Please tell me I'm not. All right, so let me demonstrate how I did this, okay? This is one of those ways that you can put two colors ink on one stamp set, or one stamp. So, and when you do this, you want to use the Stampin' Write markers. These are our original water-based markers. It does not work with Stampin' Blends. The reason being, Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based, and alcohol dries very, very quickly, almost instantly. So therefore, you wouldn't be able to transfer the ink to your paper, all right? So you want to use the Stampin' Write markers for this technique. And when I do this, I use the side of this paintbrush tip. I am not coloring with the tip. You're going to wear down your tip doing it that way, and it's not necessary to do that. You can color just using the side of the paintbrush tip. It actually fills in better using the side. So this is Pretty Peacock Stampin' Write marker for the leaves and stems. I think I got everything. Oops. And then I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape for the flowers, for the blossoms. There's a lot of detail in these stamps, so I'm just going to go over them one more time to make sure I have ink on all the parts, all those little details. And again, I was just using the side of the paintbrush tip. You do not want to color with the tip when you're doing this. And before I stamp it on my envelope, I'm going to huff on this, which means I'm just going to breathe heavily on it. And the reason for that is some of the ink that I put on first may already be drying by the time I finish inking up the rest of the stamp. So I want to huff on it, breathe heavily on it, so that all of that ink is then moistened and transfers to my envelope or the cardstock, whatever you're using. And I'm going to go just like this. And beautiful. What do you think? How many of you know this technique and have used it? Super easy. Oh, Pippa, it is late for you. Yeah, that's my bedtime too. But thank you for joining me for this little bit. And I do hope you watch the entire video and get all the tips, tricks, techniques, etc. All right, so let me pull in. Oh, I should show you my sample for this second card, because I said that I was flipping over the DSP. Here's the same DSP. I just used the reverse side. I used the leafy side on my sample, and I used the flowery side on the one I made for you. Okay. Oh, my dear son-in-law says Riley loves that technique. I know. I can't wait for the day that Riley just is sitting here crafting away with Grandma. We're going to have a good old time. And actually, be watching for some photos in the second part of this week. John and Andrea are moving to their new house, which is just 12 minutes from my house. So they'll be that much closer rather than 30 minutes. But I can't be doing much lifting and stuff right now, but I certainly can watch the baby. So I think I've got the best job of anybody in this big move for them. All right, here are my two finished cards. Again, the type of card is called a split front card. And the products I use, the stamps are from the Spotlight on Nature stamp set, and the DSP is from that Perennial Lavender. All right, who would like to have their name entered into the drawing to receive one of these cards? Anybody? I'm hoping all your hands. I'm hoping that virtually all your hands are flying up and you're saying, me, me, me. If so, please type in the comments now, Spotlight on Nature. Are you like me, still trying to learn the names of all our newest products? Oh, it's a challenge, isn't it? So we're going to use Spotlight on Nature because that will help you and me remember the name of this beautiful stamp set. Spotlight on Nature. And while you're doing that, I do want to show you the dies that are part of the Spotlight on Nature bundle, because it's not what you expect. You would probably think that the dies were ones that would come out, cut out these leafy images, the floral image, and the butterfly, but they're not. It's these, okay? It's these. You get this set of decorative circle dies, and there are a total of 12 in there. So 6 different sizes, total of 12. So obviously, this is something different. You could use each of the products separately. You can combine them, or you can use just the stamp set or just the dies, right? Something a bit different, huh? Oh, Beth, you just got this set. Wonderful, wonderful. And Holly says she ordered those circles. Yes, I did not use the circle dies in this demonstration, obviously, but I did want to show you what they look like because they are awesome, and you will see me using those into the future. Okay, I will have Riley on Thursday, and her schedule can be a bit unpredictable, especially now that she's on the move and with all the commotion of moving, packing, and all that at her house. So I'm not exactly sure what to expect from her nap time on Thursday. So therefore, I already have my demonstration prepped and ready, but I may just make a video of that and post it on Thursday rather than doing it live at 2 p.m. Eastern time like I normally do on Thursdays. So just be aware of that. Again, tomorrow, May 15th only, I am giving free shipping on Stampin' Up! Orders with me of $50 or more, okay? Note that this is not a Stampin' Up! Promotion. This is my own free shipping promotion, okay? So you would have to place the order, $50 or more, with me. You can do it in my online store, or you can contact me for assistance ordering, and I'd be happy to take care of you. And because it's not a Stampin' Up! Promotion, you will have to pay the shipping on your order, but then I will mail you a refund check for the amount of your shipping, and this is for standard shipping, not expedited. I will mail you a refund check for the shipping that you paid, and I will put that in the mail within 24 hours of you placing your order. So again, this is May 15th only. The second promotion I have for you on this May 15th is you can visit my PDF store, which is stampinpiece.com. You go to shop and then click PDF tutorials in the drop-down menu. There are, gosh, I've kind of lost track of how many PDFs I have available for purchase on there. I think it's around 120, probably even over that by now. But the special there is that you purchase any 2 PDF tutorials right there. And then once you purchase those, you can download them immediately from the PDF store. And then you're going to contact me, email or something else, and I will, and tell me what third or what PDF tutorial you want for free. So you're going to buy 2, and then you're going to tell me what you want as a third one, and your third PDF tutorial will be free. All right? Kathy, that is correct. Orders with me of $50 or more in my online store, or simply by contact me by phone, email, whatever. I can place the order for you as well. And I will send you a refund check for the amount of shipping that you paid. Again, that is standard shipping only. And the deal is for May 15th only. Second promotion is buy 2 PDF tutorials and choose a third one that I will send you free. Okay. Information about that has been sent in an email, and I will finish. I need to, what is the word I'm looking for? Not edit, but review my post before I make it live. So it will be up on stampinpiece.com very, very soon. Okay. All right, everybody, have, yes, the PDF tutorial special is for May 15th only also. So it's those 2 promotions, May 15th only. All righty. Thanks so much for joining me. I always appreciate your support and appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share what I love to do. Have a great evening, and contact me for any of your Stampin' Up! Needs, and I look forward to stamping with you again soon.